Welcome to the SAP HXM services, integrating Microsoft Teams to SuccessFactors Learning VLS. We can break down our session into three general areas. First, an overview of the VLS integration process. Then we'll provide details on the steps to perform the integration, and including short system demonstrations. And finally, we'll provide some information for addressing questions, links, and locations where additional information is available. First, we'd like to provide you with an overview of the VLS functionality. The Virtual Learning Service, VLS, is the integration between virtual meetings rooms such as WebEx, Microsoft Skype for Business, Adobe Connect, and SuccessFactors Learning. SAP LMS is the middleman between the virtual meeting rooms and the instructor and students. VLS allows the instructor and the student to launch a virtual meeting room via the LMS and record important data depending on the virtual meeting room. First, we would like to provide a screenshot of the instructor view. As you can see from the screenshot here, as an instructor, you'll be able to go to Learning and then My Classes. And then once you click on My Classes, you see your scheduled classes. And then from there, you can click on the class that you would like to start. And then all you have to do is it'll take you to the next screen in which you are able to then click on Start VLS. Now let's take a quick view of the student's view from the learning plan. As you can see here, once the student clicks on the learning indicator at the top of the screen, the student will be able to see the VLS course on their learning plan. And then from there, they can click on the down arrow, and then they can click on Start Course, and then that would allow them to actually join the session. Now let's take a quick view of the student's notification once they are registered into the class. They will have received an email with all the key information for the VLS, such as the URL, link, the event title, instructor name, and any important other information that's related to course that was entered. Now let's take a quick view of the student's VCAL notification that is sent after the registration email by the LMS. As you can see in the screenshot, this is the standard VCAL with options to accept, tentative, decline as well. Before we move into talking about the major configuration points, individuals that are responsible for setting up the integration between Microsoft Teams and SuccessFactors Learning will need to have access to and be familiar with Microsoft Azure as well as Microsoft Teams. Let's talk about the primary integration details on the Microsoft side of the configuration. The setup of the Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Azure to integrate with SuccessFactors Learning contains multiple steps. The different steps in this process are accessible through the links in this presentation. Note that you will need to be a Microsoft Azure admin to complete the configuration. Also, our presentation today does not cover adding SuccessFactors Learning instructor in Microsoft Teams. As the first part of the integration is in Microsoft Azure, SAP has provided a documentation that takes you through that process. Let's open this documentation and introduce some of the contents. As you can see, this is the Virtual Learning Service configuration for Microsoft Teams. Content is basically an overview, configuration within Microsoft Azure, which is critical, and then configuration within SuccessFactors Learning, but we'll go through that configuration later on in the presentation. Quick overview. Keep in mind that the instructor ID is their Microsoft Teams email address. No password is required. Then the first configuration that you'll be doing in Microsoft Azure is registering the application. Then you go ahead and generate a client secret. Then set up Microsoft Graph API permissions. Then you'll go ahead and configure the CS application access policy for application authentication. And then it gets into details about the configuration within SuccessFactors Learning. And all these will be taken care of later on in the presentation. Now let's talk about the primary configuration from the learning side. There are three areas of setup for configuration and confirming configuration of Microsoft Teams VLS in SuccessFactors Learning. One, locate and download the XML template. Two, configure and save the template in SuccessFactors Learning to enable the initiation. And third, set up the class to confirm that the SuccessFactors Learning and Microsoft Teams integration is working properly. Before we get into the demonstration, here are some additional links to information related to SuccessFactors Learning and Microsoft Teams integration. As you can see here, some of these are going to require that you have either community access or you have an S user ID. If you have specific questions, Microsoft support is your best avenue for gathering answers. Some support options are listed in this slide to work with Microsoft regarding the Microsoft Teams VLS integration with learning. Let's now move on to walking through the steps to actually perform the Microsoft Teams VLS integration. Here are the steps we'll cover in today's demonstration. Download the Learning VLS XML template, configure Microsoft Teams, multiple tasks, gather Microsoft Teams account data, configure Learning VLS XML template, set up instructor accounts to access Microsoft Teams, set up class to use VLS and establish automated completion settings, and confirm VLS access for instructor and participants. Let's review the links for Microsoft Azure and Microsoft Teams configuration for the integration of Microsoft Teams VLS. As this configuration is done on the Microsoft applications, we are only able to point you to the current documentation provided by Microsoft for Microsoft Teams integration. Here are all the data points you will need to capture for Microsoft Azure overview page. These data points will be used to set up the XML template in Learning. As this configuration is done on Microsoft applications, we are only able to point you to the area where this data is located. Now let's move on to step 3. You will first need to download the VLS XML template. We give you a couple of options. You can either click on the link or you can go to launchpad.support.sap.com. Please keep in mind that it does require that you have a S user ID. Now let me go ahead and demonstrate what this would look like. After clicking on the hyperlink, it will take you to this page in which you will be able to download the XML template. Click on installation, then click on the first option, the hyperlink, SuccessFactors Learning Downloads VLS Configuration. then open the zip file. And then from there, you go to Microsoft Teams, .text, and this would be the XML template that you will need to put into the LMS in order for the integration to work. Step 4 is to confirm enablement of the VLS functionality. Let's review how to confirm or configure Learning to enable VLS. I will be doing a demonstration by going to the LMS admin side. From there, you will go ahead and click on System Admin. And then from there, you click on Configuration. And then you move on to System Configuration, LMS Admin, and do a Control F on your keyboard and do a search for VLE enabled. And then change that property to true. And then click on Apply. And that is how you enable VLS within Learning. Step 5 is to configure the VLS XML template using the account data from step 3. Go ahead and find and open the downloaded XML template and update the information from Microsoft Teams account. This is what the XML template looks like, and you will go ahead and you will update the API key. You will also update the client secret, and you'll also update the tenant ID as well as the application ID. All this information needs to be updated within the 2 brackets, and then from there you need to save it, and then from there you go into the LMS and you copy and paste this into the LMS. I am now going to open the LMS and walk you through this. This is the LMS admin side. From there, you go to System Administration, Configuration, and then you'll go to VLS Configuration. You'll click on Add New, and then from there, you would put in a description, i.e. Microsoft Team VLS, and then you would put in all the relevant information from the XML. So just copy and paste the VLS XML, and you put that here, and then from here, you just go ahead and click on Apply Changes. And that will save the VLS XML template. Step 6, let's review the details related to setting up an instructor account in Learning to pass through to Microsoft Teams virtual sessions. There are some basic details to record in the instructor account, such as the account ID that's associated to the instructor in Microsoft Teams. That is always their email address that's in Microsoft Teams. Also, please note that you will need to confirm in Microsoft Teams application that the instructor already exists. The instructor cannot be created from the LMS and then created in Microsoft Teams. The instructor must already exist in Microsoft Teams before creating the instructor account in the LMS. Now I'll go ahead and demonstrate how to create an instructor account. First thing you do is go to the LMS admin side. Then you would go to People, and then Instructors, and click on Add New. You will fill in the required information, such as first name, last name, security, domain, role, as well as associating it to an active related user. And make sure that you put in the email address that is found in Microsoft Teams, because that is their account ID. From there, all you have to do is just click on Apply Changes. And when you go to the VLS settings, you'll notice that their account ID is their email address. Don't need to worry about account password. That is not necessary. This is a blank password in here right now. And that is how you create an instructor account that has already been existing in Microsoft Teams. Step 7. Let's review details related to integrating Microsoft Teams VLS. We're going to go ahead and create an IoT item, and then we're going to go ahead and schedule a Microsoft Teams VLS class. And then finally, we're going to set the values for the automated completion settings for the class. Demonstration. I'm now going to head to the LMS admin side. From the LMS admin side, you go ahead and go to Learning Activities, Items, click on Add New, and then it'll take you to this new item page. From there, you change the classification to instructor-led, and then you'll also change the item type to instructor-led, and then you will put in the item ID, as well as a title and description. Click on Save. Now we're going to go ahead and schedule the class. Options, top right, schedule. Then we're going to go ahead and pick the start date, start time. Then we're going to go ahead and select the primary instructor. Now we're going to go ahead and select the VLS server. And then finally, we just click on Save. Now we're into the class details. From here, we're going to change the setting, VLS setting, to active. But we're also going to make sure that the VLS indicator is available as well. And then finally, we're going to do a couple more things, which is confirm the completion status for credit and not for credit completion status, as well as put in the percentage for attendance for credit. Once these are completed, you click on Save, and now the class has been saved. We just demonstrated how to create an item, schedule the class, as well as to validate that the automated completion setting is set. Step 8. Let's review details related to confirming that the instructor can successfully launch the Learning Microsoft Teams VLS course. I am now going to go ahead and I'm going to demonstrate that the instructor can successfully launch the Microsoft Teams VLS course. Now I will navigate as an instructor and start the VLS session. I am at the BizDex homepage. I am going to go to Home. Then I will go ahead to go to Learning. From there, I will go to My Classes. I will click on the class that I want to start. And then I will click on Start VLS. Then it pops up Microsoft Teams on another window. I will go ahead and click on Join. It is connecting. I am inside the session. As you can see, there is one participant waiting to be admitted. I will click on Admit. And the participant is now in the Microsoft Teams. As you can see from this screen, you have all the abilities within Microsoft Teams that you would normally have. And to end the session, all you have to do is click on Leave. Step 9. Let's review details related to confirming that the user can successfully launch the Learning Microsoft Teams VLS course. I am now going to go ahead and launch the LMS and show you that the user can actually navigate to their to-do list and launch the course. I will now demonstrate a user going into their learning and joining the session. From the BizDex homepage, you go to Home, then you go to Learning. Then you click on the Join Virtual Session. The window puts you into the lobby of the Microsoft Teams, as you can see here. Click on Join Now. And I am finally in the meeting. As you can see, the options are the same people, chat, reactions, more, camera, mic, share, as they would be if you joined Teams from Outlook or from another program. But since we're joining from the LMS, you can still see it is still the exact same. And to exit, all you have to do is click on Leave. Challenges and lessons learned. Here is a description of the current permission scenario related to setting up Microsoft Teams to integrate with SuccessFactors Learning. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today. If you have further questions, please contact your SAP community at community.successfactors.com.